those posters been skewed this whole time? I think these posters are kind of cockeyed, and that means that they were like that the entire episode that you're about to watch, and I'm very sorry for that. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Scruffy City Beat. This is a podcast from WBR about stories from the heart of Knoxville's music scene. My name is Jillian Taylor, and I am the host of this podcast. I am a photographer here at the station, but in my alternate life, I'm a dancer in the live music scene. So I do a lot of honky-tonk dancing and then some other live music dancing. Through that hobby, you could say hobby, it's a little bit more in line with obsession, I started to form a lot of community and really fall in love with Knoxville's music scene. And then I got the opportunity to do this podcast, and it's been a really cool process of learning about the scene that I often see when I'm out with my friends dancing and carousing. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about teaching Knoxville about its scene, because we have this wonderful, thriving art scene here that I think we have yet to even fully appreciate as a city as a whole. So that's the point of this podcast. I'm excited about today's episode. It's with Jarius Bush, who is a part of the Good Guy Collective, and also released his music under the name J.Bu. And this weekend, he's working with the Good Guy Collective to throw an inaugural block party in Forthingill. So this is my conversation with him. We talk about his projects, we talk about the work the Good Guy Collective is doing, and we talk about the upcoming 4th and Chill Festival. And as we transition into this episode, you're going to be listening to some snippets from a J.Bu. song. So if it catches your ear, give him a listen on Spotify.
We alive. Still alive, we made it. Safe, but I stay dangerous. I got time today, yeah. I got time today.
J.Bu?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Jarius Bush is your name, though.
Yes.
Yes. But your artist name is J.Bu. J.Bu is a musician who's been in Knoxville for a long time. Kind of give me your backstory with this town, how long you've been around, how long you've been making music, and also throwing events and community building. Kind of tell me about your association with the Knoxville music scene.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised here, so I've been here for 37 years now, getting up there. But I started doing music back in elementary school. So my first introduction to it was just listening to Tribe Called Quest with my family, old hip hop groups back in the day. And I wrote my first rap in 5th grade.
5th grade?
Fifth
Do you
grade.
have it anywhere?
I don't know if I have that anymore.
Do you remember it?
Nah, I know. I'm sure I took a rapper I admired at the time and just changed the words up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the group that I stole my bars from was a group called Campolo.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
a big fan of mostly New York artists.
Okay.
So
What school did you go to here?
I went to Inskip.
Inskip? Okay.
Inskip Elementary.
Okay.
And actually what got me into community building with music was that one of my best friends in elementary school, him and I went up against each other in a competition. So there was this rap verse in music class for this song about the 50 states, right? And the rap verse came in, and we all auditioned for the part. So myself, my good friend, his name's Michael, and a couple other rap people that was interested in rap. So me and him were the last 2 people up for the for winning the spot.
And you're battling.
Yeah, we're
you're rap
battling
for this.
Yeah, for the spot, trying to rap at the best. And he wins it. He beats
No!
me. He beat me in it. And I remember just
You got an underdog story.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And I remember just watching him on stage performing, being in awe, yo, he's so dope. Yeah,
and then all the hatred was brewing, and then you had your villain arc.
Yeah, I didn't become.
And then you climbed to the top.
Yes, I did not become a villain from that. It was, I took it well.
Good.
And just following that, I just always had an affinity for supporting other artists, and also doing it myself. So yeah.
That seems from what I can tell, your role in the community is kind of a builder, a connector of people.
Absolutely.
Can you talk at all about that, some of the organizations that you've helped form and lead?
Okay.
What are you involved in?
So one organization that's still present right now, that's functioning, is called the Good Guy Collective, and I'm one of the co-founders of that organization. And we're basically a hip hop group that's been in operation for nearly 13 years now. Yeah, and it spawned from actually a band I was in back in the early 2000s, I think 2009. And I fell in a band called the Theorists.
The Theorists. Ooh, cool
So
name.
yeah, so it was a hip hop, rock and
cool.
roll fusion type of thing.
Yeah.
And just from that band, it was the only hip hop band in Knoxville. So it attracted a lot of other hip hop artists that were organizers and DJs, things of that nature.
Yeah.
And it became our Voltron. Just from the band, being such a stakeholder in the community and,
Yeah.
and having so many spores that spawned out from that, we then decided to make a collective. So
Yeah.
that's how it was founded, from basically the band.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And the hip hop scene in Knoxville, how big is it? What kind of like venues do you guys live in? What is that space like here?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. So the main reason why the collective exists is to help foster the hip hop scene here in Knoxville,
Yeah.
because that's one of the biggest barriers that we have is actual venue space. I think the mecca of the hip hop scene, which is going to sound ironic, but like the Birdhouse Community Center is actually where like a lot of hip hop artists get their start.
Yeah.
You know, back in like 2010s, early 2010s, there was a monthly event, no, actually weekly event that would happen at the Birdhouse called Cypher Saturdays. So that would be like the one spot where all the hip hop artists would come and basically put their music out there and let the world hear it, or
Yeah.
the community that is. So that was like one of the main venues where people get their start. And then from there, Pilot Light is another venue.
So smaller scale venues.
Smaller scale
Yeah.
venues. The thing about the Theorists that made us unique was that we were able to like infiltrate places like Scruffy City and Prayers Pub and
Yeah, okay.
the bar scenes, because we had a band.
Yeah.
You know, and that's actually more suitable for those type of venues.
Is it right now in the scene more often like individual artists, individual
Yeah.
people doing performances?
Yeah, they're kind of in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
And that's our goal. Our mission is to create more platforms for artists to actually come out of their bedrooms and make themselves present,
Yeah.
so we can build the scene.
Yeah, but I also want to talk about your music project,
Yes,
because it's
yes.
been really fun to watch the rollout of it. Like
Yes.
in my network, people are posting your videos and stuff, and it's just like, it's cool. I mean, there's cinema happening with your project.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
can you tell me about Tennessee, the project? The rollout started in February, right? And then you had there's been 4 chapters,
Yeah.
and the most recent one was here in May. Can you kind of give me the concept of the Tennessee project?
Okay, yeah. Well, it's a big one. As you
Yeah.
mentioned, like there's videos, there's all kind of different cinematic elements to it. But the main concept is it's basically like a short story or a book of short stories of returning home. So leaving and returning. So it's a
Cool.
constant of that. But also like it's broken down into different elements. So those 4 chapters are indicative of a different element. So chapter 1 is water, chapter 2 is earth, 3 is air, and 4 is fire. And the main premise of it is like coming home to yourself, but also like learning yourself on deeper levels based on those elements. So with water, like the water, well, let me tell you this. Well, fun fact, the name Tennessee actually means where the water meets.
Oh.
So that's why water is first in the project, because
Yeah.
that's the whole meaning of the project.
Cool, fun fact.
But it's like all of my music, everything I do is like based around like internal value. So like J.Bu with the $ in my name, it represents like being aware of the value that's within. So it's a bit of a spiritual project as well, because it's like all about like evolving and becoming the best version of yourself. So like, but in doing that, you have to be comfortable where you are and loving your home where you are now. So
Yeah.
that's the
Did you
premise.
love your home before this project, or is this an effort to love your
This
home?
is an effort to love my home. And actually this project is a spiritual successor to my last album. So the album I put out before Tennessee was a project called The Shape Up. And the whole album was like, it was kind of darker, but the story of the project was about a trip I took to San Francisco to find a brother of mine that's struggling with just drug abuse issues. He's been missing from the family for a while. And during that trip, a good friend of mine got shot back home here and killed.
Wow.
Yeah. So so I flew to San Francisco to find my brother with the hopes to bring him back home. And you know, he wasn't ready for that. Then I did come back home to a friend being murdered.
That's awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so this album is like a successor to that. It's like
What
Going
year was
back
that other album?
2022
Okay.
was when all of this happened, and the project came out in 2023.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I feel like this one is like finding that joy again, and like coming back to that place of like peace with your own home, even though something that horrible can happen in your home, you know.
Yeah.
And also like there's kind of an undertone to why it's called Tennessee, because my brother's daughter name is Tennessee.
Yeah. Was that the brother you had flown to go try?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
So,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Did it work? The release of this album?
He's
do you
doing
feel-
good. Yeah. He hasn't come back home yet, but yeah, he's communicating with the family now. He's not missing no more. He's doing
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely working.
Has your brother seen this album?
Yes.
How did he react to it?
He loved it. He loved it. Like especially the first song on the album. He loves the first track on the Water EP.
What's the first track on the Water EP?
It's called Barefoot.
That's the one that starts with Bill Landry.
Yes.
Barefoot starts with a Bill Landry.
Oh yeah, and I gotta mention this.
Yeah.
So after but while I was like writing this project, I was trying to figure out like how am I going to frame it? Like what's the name of it? Like what story am I trying to tell? And I had like songs kind of already like put together, right? And my son and I we went on a hike one day. We went up to the Smokies. I forgot the particular mountain range we hiked, but where did we go? Wait. LeConte. We were hiking up LeConte.
My.
We didn't go all the way up.
Okay.
It's
not a chill hike.
Yeah, it's not a chill hike at all. But we hiked up like not even half, like a third of a way up LeConte, right? And,
How old is
like,
your son?
He's 10 years old.
10, okay.
So he was 9 at the time when we were hiking. But you know, and I knew that I wanted to do something indicative of home and like what makes home, you know, beautiful. And while I was hiking, Bill Landry's voice just hit me in my head. I remember the Heartland series. I'm like, yo, nobody has ever like sampled Bill Landry and brought that element into hip hop. Like,
it started playing and I was like, oh my god.
Yes.
People love Bill Landry.
Yes.
People eat up Bill Landry here.
He's a legend. I love that guy's voice. Like
Such
Bill
a
Landry.
legend.
Oh my God,
if we play it on a streaming and if we ever move the time, we get calls. People are like, where's the Heartland? I need to see it. Like, where have you put it?
So yeah, just during that hike, I heard Bill Landry's voice. Like, welcome to the Smoky Mountains. I'm like, yo, man, whoa. Like, that's what I remember being a child watching that show and like just being taught about how beautiful this place is. But at the time, I wasn't in the mountains. I didn't know about it. So to be at this age and to see what he's talking about, so I'm like, yo, I got to pull that into the project. So.
Do you feel any of this like related to like your son experiencing this area? I mean, talk to me about that. Like, you're reminiscing on your childhood in the Smokies.
Yes, and actually, I think that's what it was. Like, I was 10 years old watching Bill Landry. So I'm hiking, I'm thinking about the Smokies and all that. That's, I remember being a kid. Yeah. So yeah, he really enjoys it. And I'm glad that I'm able to like bestow that onto him at this young age. Because it took me like having to leave and go to other places and like to find out how beautiful home is. So
how does your son like react to the mountains and
He loves it. He loves it. I mean, aside from him being exhausted from hiking up the mountains and him being like, oh, Dad, I'm so tired.
He's got tiny little legs. So
little legs. But he loves it. He loves it. He loves being in nature. He likes riding the back roads with me, listening to music.
Yeah. Do you think that your son feels pride in living here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I believe watch the football games. He's really into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
The Georgia game almost killed us, but yeah.
Do you feel pride living here now?
Absolutely.
Have you always?
I'll say no. And I think the Barefoot song actually talks about that. Like I wasn't home in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, like I would always imagine myself somewhere else. Like even in how my music would sound before this project, just sonically, I would produce what I thought, what I liked outside of this place. You know, so like to actually come and make something that's represents here and home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I want to show some of the full package that you've made around this project. So there's the songs, which are beautifully produced. Who produced your songs?
I produced probably about 90% of the project.
Sweet. Do you have a home studio for it?
Yeah,
okay.
so we produce everything at the Birdhouse.
Oh,
Community Center.
There's a studio at the Birdhouse?
Yeah.
Like upstairs or something?
That's where the Good God Collective studio is.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never been upstairs in the Birdhouse.
You should come check it out.
That's cool. I'd love to see it. So the songs are very well. I mean, they sound great. And there's the 4 chapters, 4 songs per chapter right now. Is that right? Are there more chapters coming out?
Yes, there's a secret chapter. So the album will be released the full album. Okay. Will be released in November, and the 5th Element will be presented in that.
5th Element. Okay, that's exciting. Okay, hit me up when you put that out. We'll push this.
Yeah.
That's cool. So the full album is going to be like 20 songs or something?
Nah. We're going to condense it. It's going to be a lot different than the EPs. Okay. But like songs from the EPs will be in it, but it's going to be a little different. Okay. Yeah.
And with the rollout of this, so there's been Ascent there, right? There's been music videos.
Yes.
Tell me about like all the list of things that came out alongside the music.
Okay, so the ideal around the release of the EP was to release a product that will correspond with the element. Okay. So with water, we release water, right? Okay. So we had bottled waters called.
How do I look that up? Can I look that up somehow? I have this pulled up so I can show you guys these products.
Yeah. So we did God Water. That's the name of the water.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And the reason for that name is when my son and I were hiking up LeConte, we drunk out the river, which isn't recommended. But it was hot.
Not recommended.
Not recommended. But we were so hot, I didn't bring
Sounds
water
cool,
bottle. And we drunk the water out the river. And my son said, "Oh, this tastes like God water." So
You were like, thank you.
thank you. That's a song title.
That's like a creative hack is have a kid and make them say some things.
Yeah, so there's a song on a project called God Water, and it talks about hiking.
So this is the Godwater promo. Is this an ad
Yes,
for
it's-
Godwater?
yes, an ad for
Okay, so this is
Godwater.
for the first EP.
Yeah.
The product for the first EP was water.
Yes,
Okay.
God Water. And you could download the project from the waters. So on the back of it, it'd be a QR code
Oh.
where you
And
get the album.
you did actually distribute water?
Yes, actually.
At like your events?
The
like
shows,
when you did the
yeah.
shows?
Kept them
Okay.
cold at the shows. They could bottle waters and get to the album. And they were crisp and delicious.
That's so cool. Okay, here's the promo.
Hey, a little dry in the mouth, a little parched in the throat region,
Put on your brain.
suffering from a little cotton mouth. Well, I got exactly what you need. God water, here to save you from all of your dry ways. Harvested from the clear streams of the
This
most
is
high
not the
mountains
song,
of
right?
East Tennessee.
No.
You know me, Fourth Good Jenkins, better known as Thurgood Jr. I brought y'all that beard oil you love so much, you know, the golden nectar from the heavens that helped you with that, right? Well, let me be the savior of your salivation. Don't be salty and dried up like Lot's wife.
Salivation.
Don't look back. Get some God water. Blessed be thine hydration.
$5.
Y'all done got me up, early
there's
to
that
the
song.
broccoli
Yeah,
up. Every day just sign me up, on the mountain climbing up. You know what's up, what's God is up.
Styling,
Yeah, God is here, God is in the water, yeah.
You do all of
In the
this?
water.
I can shop it in the Smokies, yeah.
That's crazy. Was that when you were there with your son?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, that was like just a shoot I went up on.
That's so cool.
afterwards.
Okay, what about the second E EP?
So the second EP was Earth, and the product for that was Heartland Cookies.
Heartland Cookies.
Yeah,
I don't think I
yeah.
saw this one.
Yeah, so you can find the ad on YouTube.
Okay, let's find it.
You know me, Fourth Good Jenkins. Always here with a solution for you, and I got exactly what you need. Heartland Cookies, where every bite tastes like home. Indulge yourself in the irresistible taste of these perfectly baked cookies from East Tennessee.
You know, I talk with a lot of like musician friends about like how do you release music? Like it's such a grind, how do you stand out? It's such an unpleasant process. I feel like you made the
Yes.
process really like fun for yourself.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
doing this like goofy stuff.
Yeah, and the collective's a big help in that. Like the
Yeah.
guy that got mad and threw his toboggan at the screen.
Yeah.
He's like my right hand man when it comes to producing this. He's a collective member. His name is Mr. Kobayashi.
Okay.
Yeah, and he helps me with like putting together these concepts for these commercials and shooting.
Yeah,
as well.
that's so fun.
Yeah, the team
Community,
is a big
man.
help. Yeah, it's very important.
What was the third product?
So the third product was Airbender. So chapter 3 was Air, and we had aromatherapy mist. What is it called? Yeah, right there.
Do you sell this?
Yeah,
Oh, he's gone.
I guess he is. Okay.
Well,
Is that?
Fourth Good Jenkins?
Nah, that's Thurgood Jr.
That magical ass name.
Big light, sweet circle, can't die, we're eternal.
So Fourth Good. So originally, I wanted the name on Third Good, right? Thurgood Jenkins. That was the original name, right? It was just in my subconscious, right? And come to find out, Thurgood was actually a Dave Chappelle character. It was just in my mind. I think Thurgood was like the guy that worked at McDonald's or something like that. When Dave Chappelle had that commercial about,
How was that taken already?
yeah, you took Thurgood. And so I can't do Thurgood.
You, Fourth
And
Good.
then you're like, do Fourth Good, you know? And then we kind of
sense.
added some comedy to it by saying he's Thurgood Jr.
Third Good Junior.
So all the goods are like, so to be a fifth
That's
good,
so
a
funny.
sixth good, seven good.
That's so dumb. I'm like picturing you guys like sitting around like coming up with this concept. It just sounds so dumb.
Stupid.
It's so fun to watch. So okay, so the fourth one is Fire.
Fire, yeah. So we didn't really do an ad for Fire.
Okay.
Fire was a lot like darker, but
Okay.
but yeah, Fire is the last one, and yeah. So there's no. We sold lighters. So we sold Raven torches. I can show
Okay.
you. There is a
Raven
commercial,
torches.
but like the only commercial for that is just a promo for the show with the lighter. But I
Okay.
don't think it's
Do
on
you know what it's
YouTube.
called? That's okay. It's okay if not, but it was like an actual lighter that had like the branding on it.
Yeah, the Raven was on it. I should have brought one.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, but I think that was
Cool.
the coolest product. It's like
Yeah.
a torch, lighter. Like you could start a fire with that thing for real.
That's so cool. I wonder what the secret element product is going to be.
It's going to combine a couple of them. So
Yeah, cool. Well, that's such a cool release. I mean, just like having fun with it.
yeah,
In promoting yourself in music, I think you can really tell when an artist is having fun. And it seemed the whole time like you were having a lot of fun doing this album.
a lot of fun. Yeah,
And it was all in the name of like getting yourself to like be proud of where you live again.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
yeah,
That's beautiful.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a beautiful project. I'm really proud of it. I'm excited to actually release the full piece. I will say it was a lot of work. So I felt good to take a little break from it because I'm making products like that. The aromatherapy mist, oh my God. I had a,
Yeah, where'd you get that? Who made it?
So I had to produce it myself. Yeah.
You
so
like figured out how to like brew up a mist?
Yes. Yeah, I had to like, so before this project, I did a project called the Full Beard Trilogy, which is where the fourth good character came from. So he was a salesman selling the beard oil products that I would put out. And
Okay.
basically that project was all about like growing into manhood. And I had that broken up similar to this, like
Wow.
3 different albums that were going to be like a certain phase of growing into adulthood that I would share with my son. And
Oh my gosh. I love the way you do projects.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
really cool.
appreciate it.
It's like a full
appreciate it.
life package that you
Yeah,
do.
it's life
yeah.
package. Yeah, it's all about self-transformation, you know.
Yeah.
So that's like my whole thing.
Well, I'm going to go to an ad break real quick. So you go buy things, and then we'll come back
We'll buy something.
and talk more about this event that's coming up soon, in 2 days.
Very soon.
In 2 days.
2 days?
It'll be 2 days.
It will be 2 days. Yeah, 2 days, y'all.
2 days. Okay, so we're back, and to talk about an event that's coming up. So you talked about the Good Guy Collective
Yes.
and the effort you guys are doing to try to foster hip hop to make the scene bigger, right? Like
Yes,
that's what it's
absolutely.
about, is making the scene bigger. And part of it is throwing your first festival,
Yes.
Fourth and Chill, that I'm sure you intend to be an annual festival. Is that
Yes,
true?
That's very much the goal.
Okay, so talk to me about Fourth and Chill. Fourth and Gill is one of our neighborhoods in downtown, so obviously it's a play on that word, and it's going to be in Fourth and Gill, so right in the heart of downtown, and that's on Friday, October 4th. So from the original date of this, Saturday, October 4th. So from the original air date of this episode, which is Wednesday, so it's like 3 days from when this is airing, if you're watching this on the air date. Talk to me about what Fourth and Chill is going to look like. What can people expect?
All right. So Fourth and Chill is it's going to be a block party. It's our first festival of its kind in the neighborhood, which I think is really dope.
That's pretty
But
cool.
it's a block party. We'll have vendors. There'll be food trucks. It's multiple venues. So there'll be a main stage on the street, and also the venues will have performers in it as well. And one venue is Sassy Ends.
Mm-hmm.
So Sassy's block party and performances.
Okay.
It's going to be lit.
It's going to be cool.
and-
What parts of, which streets is it? Just that one that's by the
Yeah,
birdhouse?
Just
Okay.
the one street right there. So North 4th Avenue. That's pretty much that little stretch of block right there.
Why Fourth and Gill?
Well, you have the birdhouse there, and you also have Sassy Ends as well.
Uh-huh.
So, and Sassy Ends is like kind of reopening in its own way, like they're doing private parties, things of that
Yeah.
nature. So, like the dance scene, like really thrives at Sassy's, and then,
Yeah.
and like anybody trying to make a start is at the birdhouse.
Yeah.
And it's a community that actually supports it. So I feel like that is like indicative of what makes Knoxville unique. Is that in order for us to like thrive, it has to be communities that support it. So.
Some context for anybody watching on these spots. So Fourth and Gill is near the downtown area in downtown, and the Birdhouse is a neighborhood center. It's kind of on the corner of the street. It's got these rainbow letters in front of it. It's real cute. That says the Birdhouse, and you rent out the space. There's like a huge discount for people who live in the community, so people can throw any kind of event there.
Yes.
There's a lot of music shows and markets, and there's a lot of like also alt scene shows there.
Yes,
like it's
absolutely.
kind of like a weirdo spot for
Yeah.
sure. And then just up the street is a venue that was formerly Sassy and like a public open bar, and then
Yes.
it closed down before I moved here.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it longer?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a while, and
Yeah.
but they still do private shows, and people still call it Sassy Ands.
Yeah.
And they do private shows, a lot of them for like EDM scene, a lot of hip hop shows, a lot of raves,
Yes.
kind of like underground stuff. And I live in that area, and
Nice.
there's some construction happening, and I think there's momentum to eventually reopen as
Yes.
Sassy Ands again, but they have to go through a lot of like permitting process.
Yes, we're praying for that.
Praying
We're
for that.
Sassy
So
will be
excited.
completed.
I cannot wait to be able to just walk over there and hang out at Sass. All those old historic homes, are they a part of it at all?
Yeah, well, the original goal with it was to have like kind of like a pork chop type of deal where there's
Yeah.
performances on different like area, like homes, things of that nature. But for the first year, we wanted to keep it real simple.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Yeah.
but and there's also a couple bands that's performing on the main stage. One band in particular is my old band I was a part of back in 2009, which I founded back then with a couple of friends. It's a band called The Theorist.
Okay.
So that was my introduction to the music scene here in Knoxville.
So they're performing, are you performing with them?
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
So the band will be headlining.
That'll
So,
be very full circle.
Yeah, and the theme for this festival is homecoming.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Which ties so well to your album. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It ties to the album. It ties to like the band coming back,
Yeah.
but also just that area in general. Like I feel like a lot of artists and organizers find their start in that area.
Yeah.
Whether it be at the Birdhouse or at Sassy Ends with DJing or
Yeah.
whatever. So that spot is like a home for a lot of us.
Yeah.
So.
This is going to be an emotional day for you.
Yeah, big time.
Hope you
big
get
time.
some moments to step away and stop dealing with red tape and just be
Yeah.
celebrating
take it
it.
in.
'Cause
Yeah.
Be proud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm
and
excited.
the goal of this is to then invest back into Good Guy Collective through eyes and money.
Absolutely.
Where are you guys trying to go with the Good Guy Collective?
Good question. Well, one of our main goal is to build community through the culture of hip hop, so to support other artists, but also to help artists thrive through their actual art form and what they do. You know, make a living out of the art. So that's our goal is for us to show artists a way like you can organize, you can create opportunities for yourself to where you can make money and live off of this.
Yeah.
And that's the ultimate goal for everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
So we want to pay the artists, everybody that's performing. So we're trying to raise funds for that.
Great.
But also with any festival like this, there's a nonprofit attached to
Yeah.
the organizing of this festival. So there's a nonprofit by the name of Adelante that's involved.
Adelante. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, they work with folks that are they're working with immigrants that are working towards
Citizenship?
citizenship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a legal firm, and they do that kind of work. So they're helping us out with this, but they're also going to receive some funds from this festival as
Nice.
well
It's a
to
good
continue that
partnership.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, that's a beautiful festival. I'm actually out of town that day. I'm heartbroken about it. No, I'm literally heartbroken about it. Something that I'm on a mission to figure out in this podcast is what are the barriers in Knoxville that are preventing people from having careers, full-time careers in music here. For like hip hop scene and in what you guys are doing at the Good Guy Collective, what would you need to solve in order for people to be able to have careers making and performing music here in Knoxville?
That is a great question. Well, if we're looking at it from the Tennessee perspective, like Elemental, on the earth front, like just the practical having venue space to perform in. So the more places we have to perform and the bigger the need of it is for the art form, it'll help, you know. So that's one thing I think we need. But if I'm thinking of air, like in terms of like how we're thinking about it and looking at it, I think it's the knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of artists don't know about, even BMI, like getting their music published.
BMI?
Yeah, BMI. So it's like it's a way to publish your music and get it put up to where you can make money off of it, playing on television or radio. So it's just a barrier with all musicians of knowing how to make money from the actual creation of the music.
Yeah.
So I think that's a barrier as well, just knowing how like where and what other revenue streams can come in, you know, other than just live shows, you know. So being aware of all the ways to make it. And also I think on an emotional front, thinking about that, is not getting discouraged.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
I was just this last weekend. I was the first hip hop artist to ever perform at this festival called the Louis Bluey Fest.
Huh.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
It's up in where is it at? It's Andersonville.
Andersonville. Okay.
Andersonville.
Congrats.
So I was the first hip hop artist to do that, you know, and I think what allowed me to do that, one is the project corresponds with, you know, the type of festival it is,
Yep.
you know. But also just being consistent enough to find that, you know,
Yeah.
so that consistency and not being discouraged,
Yeah.
you know, and knowing even though like it's barriers here is to continue on despite those barriers.
Yeah.
So I think that's something else that hip hop artists need.
Yeah.
And fire, I think with Tennessee, keep the drive, you know,
Yeah.
like keep it burning. Don't let nothing put your flame out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick answer.
Thank you.
Great answer.
Yeah.
So knowledge, venues, and perseverance,
Yes,
basically,
and
are kind of the
perseverance.
barriers that you're, and I'm so grateful that you are literally doing the work that overcomes those barriers. I think you
Absolutely.
need a collective.
Yeah.
You need the people organizing together to get enough talk going for a venue,
Yes.
for people to find out about you, to come and learn and be part of the community. So glad you're doing it.
Thank you.
Because that's the
Appreciate it.
literal solution to it sounds like the barriers you defined.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, if there's ever any big projects, you know where to find me.
Yes.
So we can put them out to the people. So you guys can find shows to go to. You can go out to 4th and Chill this Saturday. Also, just keep your eyes on Birdhouse and Sassy Ann's because there are some crazy cool shows with weird, dorky, cool art happening.
Very
Your
important.
art is dorky and cool.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, I
it's somehow
appreciate
done
it.
both.
Yeah.
And you can go see him. I went to his release party, and it was a Avatar, the last Airbender themed
Yeah, dance party.
dance party at
Yeah,
Sassy
at
Ann's. It was
Sassy Ann's.
weird. It was so
Weird
cool.
energy.
Anyways, thank you for watching, and thank you for being here to talk
My
about
pleasure.
music with me.
Thank
It's
you
my
for
favorite
having
thing to
me.
do. Yes, sir.
Feel it, don't you? You make me smile. Got me dancing. Here's my number. Let's get romantic. I got feelings for you. I got feelings for you. Put that bubble. Let me build upon you.
All right, y'all, that was J.Bu. You also just heard another snippet from one of his songs in that little transition. He is doing great, great work. And go out on Saturday if you want to meet him in real life, not just through the screen. He's a cool dude. And as always, I have one more thing for you before we go. Jared Hagman is a guy who runs a publication called Knoxville that posts about all of the shows happening in Knoxville. So Jared, what does it look like out in the streets today?
Many of us have memories of this street, from nights at Sassy Ann's, shows at the Birdhouse. This street and 4th and Gill is a piece of the community. And on Saturday, this empty canvas is going to be transformed into the 4th and Chill Festival. You'll have all kinds of live music, the local artists that you may know, like The Theorist, Feral Kitty, High Days, and more. And there's even going to be shows inside Sassy Ann's. You can relive those Thursday nights. It won't be quite as wild as those, but relive some of that Thursday night magic this Saturday. What this represents is a first of its kind community-run festival in this block that was nearly lost to redevelopment, but luckily was saved. And now this canvas will become anything that we want at 4th and Chill. It's going to be incredible. There's going to be a lot of music, a lot of food, lots of fun stuff.
Thank you, Jared. That is the latest happenings from Jared Hagman with Knox Ooze. If you ever find him, ask him for the history of 4th and Gill, because he knows a lot. He knows a lot about a lot of things, so just ask him any question when you see him. I'm very sad that I'm going to miss 4th and Chill. It's going to be a really cool event, so if you have the opportunity, please go in my place and enjoy the thriving, abundant local art scene that we have. It is just waiting for people to support it, and it needs it. In the meantime, I am Jillian Taylor. You've listened to the Scruffy City Beat, and we'll be back next week with an episode that's kind of jazzy. Stay tuned.